Hey guys, I'm back to do my next character review. Like I mentioned in my last video, my friend and I are still doing video reviews of characters that one of us likes and the other one dislikes. And the characters that we're reviewing are Naveen from The Princess and the Frog and Merida from Brave. My friend did his Naveen video yesterday. I did my Naveen video a few days before that, and he did his Merida video a few days before that. And I'm here today to do my Merida video. Anyway, recently, Merida has actually taken the place of, Rapunzel and from Tangled and Anna from Frozen as my personal least favorite Disney princess. And the only one that I actually dislike. While I don't actually like Rapunzel and Anna and Anna, I'm pretty much neutral about them. Merida I actually dislike, and I just feel like she's pretty mean-spirited for the protagonist of a Disney princess movie and that sort of thing. But that's just my personal opinion. And the reasons that I dislike her are, she's spoiled and selfish even more than the average teenager, since she doesn't seem to care that if she refuses to get married, she'd start a war. She's mean and disrespectful to her mother. She goes to a witch to change her mother without even considering what change means. She's a stereotypical tomboy who writes girly things off as weak. She's a false action girl. She's annoying. She's a hardcore feminist that tries to shove the message of equality in your face. She does a bad job of teaching little girls that they can take care of themselves and don't need a guy, because she's always playing the damsel in distress. And she's a bad role model. Not the worst, but the worst of the Disney princesses, in my opinion, for the reasons that I mentioned. And other complaints about her that I've heard are, she's stupid, she's boring, she's a Scottish stereotype, she's ugly, her development was done poorly, she shouldn't be included in the Disney princess lineup because she's Pixar, she's a punch in the face to the Disney princesses being a weak damsel in distress, that depends on and only wants a man. She was made by Disney to apologize for Scrooge being a Scottish stereotype. Sorry, I'm a little off my game today. I'm having kind of a hard time pronouncing things, so I apologize in advance for that. Anyway, starting with the whole, she's spoiled and selfish, even more than the average teenager, since she doesn't seem to care that if she refuses to get married, she'd start a war. Yeah, that's one of the big things about her that really bugs me. I mean, yeah, she does finally realize in the end, I'll admit that her actions were wrong, but having the main protagonist that's intended to be a role model in a kid's movie jokingly say, then let them sign the declarations of war, is more than a little over the top, in my opinion. I mean, yeah, I definitely understand that, that she didn't want to get married, at least not, at least not immediately, and, not, not to somebody that she didn't love, but, I mean, is not getting married to, is an arranged marriage, really, worth, is avoiding an arranged marriage really worth, starting a war over? I mean, speaking as someone who is asexual and never been romantically attracted to anyone before, if, if getting married to a guy that I didn't like meant not starting a war between, between my family and, someone else, I would definitely go for the arranged marriage. And, to me, that just comes across as very egocentric, that she, that she's pretty much willing to put her, her family, and other innocent people's lives in danger, because she doesn't want an arranged marriage, especially back then when that was pretty much the norm. When, excuse me, when, girls were, when girls and guys were often betrothed, and that sort of thing. And, so yeah, that's probably the main reason that I dislike her. Anyway, she's mean and disrespectful to her mother. Yeah, she definitely is. I mean, a lot of, I know that a lot of, teenage characters are shown as being, semi-disrespectful to their parents, at some point or another. I mean, if you look at, like, Max from the Goofy movies, he's shown as, he's definitely shown, as being somewhat disrespectful to Goofy. In various parts. Like, yelling at his dad, I'm not your little boy anymore. I've got my own life now. But that's nothing compared to what, to what Merida does to her mother. I mean, well, trying to change her, and that sort of thing, and, and yelling all sorts of horrible insults at her, and tearing the tapestry for no reason, and yeah, to me that's not the kind of behavior that should be shown in a. Again, that's not the kind of behavior that should be shown in a protagonist in a kids movie. Um, yeah, sorry. I understand that what they were going for her. I understand that what they were going for with her was tough and that sort of thing, but to me, she just comes across more as mean and kind of hateful towards her mother. And I know that she finds out at the end that she was wrong and everything, but uh, still, I would be afraid that little girls would think that that was an appropriate way to treat your parents, especially your mother, yelling insults at them and ripping things apart and uh, basically saying that they'd rather die than be like them. Uh, and she goes to a witch to change her mother without considering what change means. Yeah, going to a witch to change her mother at all is one of the reasons why I think she's pretty mean to her mother. And the whole without considering what change means also really bugs me. I mean, at least with Ariel, while I do think it wasn't a real bright move to go to an evil sea witch for help. I mean, at least she does. At least she's only going to change herself, and she's turned herself into a human. So she's pretty sure that if anyone is harmed, it will just be her. With Merida, on the other hand, when she says, "I want you to change my mother," what the frick do you mean by change? Kill your mother? for all you know, that's what the witch is going to do. uh, since since when she says, "But you're sure it will change my fate?" Um, for all she knows, the witch is going to poison her mother and kill her. That's another thing that really bothers me about her. Uh, and I know at the end she learns that trying to change her mother was wrong and yada yada yada, uh, but again, how did she know that the witch wasn't going to harm her mother? Like I said, at least Ariel was only trying to change herself, and did consider the fact that that if she became human, she would never be with her father or sisters again. And yeah, I mean, going to a sea witch that she knew was evil for help probably wasn't the brightest move, but uh, it still doesn't bother me as much as Merida going to a witch that she knew nothing about and basically saying, "I want you to change my mother as long as long as you're sure it will change my fate." So you're basically fine with the witch killing your mother as long as it will change your fate, so that you can so that you can get out of the arranged marriage and start a war on and start a war between all the countries. That's what I got out of it. Sorry for starting to do my evil laugh. Moving on before I get even angrier about that scene. She's a stereotypical tomboy who writes girly things off as weak. Yeah, she pretty much is. Yeah, sorry, I'm stammering. I got really mad at that last complaint. I know that she's not to the extent of Goslin Mallard from Darkwing Duck, who's pretty much a one, maybe two-dimensional, stereotypical tomboy, and that's pretty much her only personality trait. I mean, like my friend mentioned in his Merida video, when they do the DuckTales and Darkwing crossover, pretty much all her only interaction with Webby is making fun of her for being into girly things, and I think that I think that the only other interaction they have is at one point Goslin plays the role of reverse snob to Webby and makes fun of her because she lives in a fancy mansion. Yeah, Merida definitely isn't a stereotypical tomboy to that extent, but yeah, she's definitely a stereotypical tomboy, who writes off girly things as weak, and gets mad when she has to dress up for when the suitors come and that kind of stuff. I mean, I have nothing against tough girls and that kind of stuff, but when it's one of the few, when they're pretty much the stereotypical tomboy, I do find them pretty annoying. I mean, one of my favorite heroines is Batgirl from Batman the Animated Series, and she's definitely a tough action girl, but you also see her in several episodes dressing up in formal dresses and that sort of thing. I don't know. Stereotypical tomboys, where it's like, if you're into action stuff, you can't be into girly stuff, have always rubbed me the wrong way. uh, she's a false action girl. Yeah, she definitely is. Um, I mean, in the commercials, she she's in the ads and the commercials for the movie. She was shown as uh, being a real tough action girl and kicking butt and that sort of thing. But then in the movie, especially in the second half, she's shown as being a weak damsel in distress who's constantly being needing to be saved by her mother. And don't get me wrong, I have nothing against damsels in distress. I mean, my two favorite fictional female characters, Minnie Mouse and Webby Vanderquack, have both definitely played the damsels in distress. But, I mean, when, if you're going to have a, if you're going to advertise a character as being an action girl, why why have them constantly play the damsel in distress? That's false advertising. and kind of like being the stereotypical tomboy. I don't have anything against characters who play the damsel in distress as long as it's as long as it's not as long as they're not completely useless and don't really don't really contribute much and that sort of thing. She's a hardcore feminist and tries to shove the message of equality in your face. Yeah, she definitely is. She's definitely not as hardcore a feminist as, Brave isn't as much a feminist movie as, say, like Maleficent is or something like that, but, it's definitely a feminist movie that's designed to show little girls that you don't need a man to take care of. You don't need a man to take care of you and that sort of thing. And while I do agree in equality and that sort of thing, I don't believe in it being shoved in your face. I mean, to me, a movie like Mulan, where the heroine joins the army and saves China, does a much better job of showing equality than something like Brave does, where it just shoves the message in your face. By having the heroine fight against tradition, even if it means causing a war, because she's not going to marry a man that she doesn't like, and blah 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 blah, and that sort of thing. To me that comes across as very annoying and very in your face. and shows women in general and feminists in a pretty bad light. And I'm sorry, I skipped a complaint, which is she's annoying, and yeah, she is to me. I'll definitely admit that annoying is that annoying is very much in the eye of the beholder, and not really a complaint that I can get too deep into. Since different people find different types of characters annoying. I've been over this several times, so I won't get too deep into it. I find most of the characters from the Shrek movies to be pretty annoying, but they're popular movies and have a lot of fans. So they're obviously appealing characters to a lot of people, but to each their own. To me, she's a pretty annoying character. With with a lot of annoying moments, and but she also has her fans. And that's about all I have to say about that complaint. She does a bad job of teaching little girls that they can take care of themselves and don't need a guy, because she's always playing the damsel in distress. Yeah, she is, definitely. I mean, if you are going to have the message that you don't need, that a woman doesn't need a man to take care of her, why have the heroine constantly playing the damsel in distress and needing to be saved by her mother? To me, that makes no sense. To me, to me, characters like, Webby Vanderquack from DuckTales do a much better job of showing both equality and that, that you don't always need a guy to take care of you. And yes, she does play the damsel in distress on occasions, but, what they do with her is that she keeps up with guys her own age, and is shown saving the day on occasion, but by using her wits, but she's not shown, she's also shown not being able to take on, villains that are out of her league, like, a gang of thugs and witches and that sort of thing. So to me, characters like that do a much better job of showing little girls that, that you can keep up with the guys, and you don't always need, and you don't need a guy to take care of you. But that you do need help sometimes, as opposed to Merida, refusing to get married, because she don't need no man, and then, but still playing the damsel in distress all the time, and having her mother constantly save her. Okay, how does this show little girls that they can take care of themselves? And my last complaint about her is she's a bad role model. And I won't get too deep into this because I've listed the reasons why I think she's a bad role model pretty much above. Like I said, she does a bad job of showing little girls that they don't really need a guy and they can't take care of themselves. She's a hardcore feminist, she's annoying, she's she goes to a witch to change her mother. She's mean and disrespectful, and she's a spoiled, selfish brat. And to me, those are all reasons that she's a bad role model to little girls. Yeah, she's not the worst role model, but in my opinion, she's definitely the worst of the Disney princesses. Yeah, she's definitely not as bad as, say, Dimitri from Anastasia, Tinkerbell from Peter Pan himself, those kind of characters, but, she's definitely the worst of the Disney princesses, in my opinion. And she's, in my opinion, that they don't need to have a Disney princess that's intended to be a role model for little girls that's that mean-spirited. And moving on to the other complaints, she's stupid. While I do get this with her more than I do a lot of other characters where this has been used, like, Ariel, Webby, and a lot of other young, naive, ignorant characters. I probably disagree with it. I mean, yeah, she does make a really, really, really stupid decision, in my opinion. Going to the witch to change her mother. Which is definitely dumber than, like, in my opinion, than, like, Ariel going to Ursula, and, Belle going into the West Wing, Snow White being, too trusting of the evil queen in her old hag form when she offered her the poisoned apple, Tiana kissing Naveen as a frog, Webby making some of her, childish decisions and that sort of thing. Merida's decision to go to the witch to change her mother is definitely one of the dumbest decisions, if not the dumbest, that I've seen a Disney princess make. But, making a dumb decision, doesn't make you a dumb character. Doesn't make a dumb character, because she does have her clever moments, and, like, shooting for her own hand, even if it is, for selfish reasons, and, mending the tapestry, even if she was wrong about it, and that sort of thing. So, while I do get this complaint more than I with her more than I do with other young, ignorant, naive characters. In my opinion, she just made a really dumb decision. Which, a dumb decision doesn't make you a dumb character. Moving on. She's boring. Like annoying, boring is very much in the eye of the beholder. And, and it's too subjective to talk about. What one person finds boring, another person finds entertaining. I mean, I've tried watching the Once Upon a Time series, and I honestly find it to be kind of boring. Whereas my friend absolutely adores it. And it does have its other fans. So, it's very subjective and very much in the eye of the beholder, and if you find her boring, then she's, probably just not your cup of tea. She's a Scottish stereotype, sorry. She's a Scottish stereotype, that's a tongue twister. How? What I've always heard a Scottish stereotype being is a, greedy penny pincher, often often when they're really stereotyped who, doesn't care about anything about money and that sort of thing. So how is she a Scottish stereotype? If you want to see an extreme Scottish stereotype, look at the, original comic version of Scrooge. He was... he was a, he was an extreme Scottish stereotype, much like a lot of the original Mickey and Friends characters were, extreme stereotypes of something, and, were fleshed out in later incarnations. So, nice try, but pick a better complaint. Pick a better reason than that to dislike her. She's ugly. I never saw her as ugly. I've always thought she was quite attractive, although I tend to like, untraditionally attractive, I tend to like characters that aren't very traditionally attractive. Beauty is very much in the eye of the beholder, but even if you do find her butt ugly, what does that have to do with her personality? Pick a better reason than just her looks to dislike her. That's a very weak and shallow reason. And even when I do dislike a character, and find them, and find them unattractive, I don't add that to my list of reasons why I dislike them. I mean, I dislike characters like, Sinbad and Flynn Rider, but I find them both attractive, and I love characters like, Quasimodo and Ursula and Mama Odie, and find them ugly. So pick a better reason than her looks to dislike her. Her development was done poorly. Yeah, I can get this to an extent since in the first half, she, she's a spoiled brat, and in the second half, she's she's a damsel in distress and that sort of thing. I can get it to an extent. It's not as poorly done as, like, Dimitri from Anastasia. But it's not the best. It's definitely not the best character development I've seen. So sorry, I'm stuttering today. I can get it to an extent, but it's not the best. It's not the worst. It's moderately well done. And it's not one of the reasons that I dislike her. It's her characterization itself that I dislike her. She shouldn't be included in the Disney Princess lineup since she's Pixar. Well, well, I hate to break it to you, but Disney owns Pixar, so they can add. Disney owns both Pixar and the Disney Princess lineup, so they can do whatever they want with any Pixar character and add any of them that they want to the Disney Princess lineup. I mean, they could add any character from Eve from WALL-E to Sally from Cars to Jessie from Toy Story to the Disney Princess lineup, just like they could add any character from the Mickey Mouse and Friends lineup, like Minnie or Daisy or Clarabelle. I mean, if it's a character that's owned by Disney, yeah, they can add it to the Disney Princess lineup if they want. Whether even probably even a Star Wars or Marvel character. But having said that, having said that, just because you don't think she should be in the Disney Princess lineup, that doesn't make her a bad character, so pick a better reason to dislike her. She's a punch in the face to the Disney princesses being weak damsels in distress that depend on and only want a man. Yeah, she pretty much is. Unfortunately, she was poorly executed since even though she doesn't want a man and doesn't depend on a man, she's constantly dependent on her mother. But, just because that was her, that may have been her intent, that doesn't mean that she's a horrible character in and of herself. And I try not to let that affect my opinion of her too much, but, it's the poor execution of it that, the fact that, they made her such a friggin' hardcore feminist, and, made her so that even though she's not dependent on a man, she still constantly plays the damsel in distress and is dependent on her mother, all the time. So try not to let that affect your opinion of her too much. And finally, she was made by Sorry, I misspoke myself. She was made by Disney to apologize for Scrooge being the Scottish stereotype. Boy, I can't say that. The Scottish stereotype. Yeah, so I did read in a blog online that there were a bunch of Scottish people that were unhappy with the fact that Scrooge was the stereotypical Scottish penny pincher, so they complained about it and told Disney that they needed to make a different Scottish character, and that's why they made Merida. I don't know if it's actually true or not. If it is true, it does hack me off that she was made, to apologize for my favorite fictional character, but, whether it is true or not, it's not... Whether it is true or not, that doesn't have anything to do with her character, so... I try not to let it affect, my personal opinion of her. So, sorry for not being able to pronounce Scottish stereotype. I don't know why I can't. Like I said earlier, I'm kind of off my game today, and I should better wrap it up since I don't want to still have the curse going that my friend did in his Naveen video. Anyway, personally, Merida is, a little too mean-spirited for a Disney princess, in my opinion. Like in the complaints that I've mentioned, not caring about the fact that she might start a war, and going to a witch, not considering what change means, and the fact that it might kill her mother and that sort of thing. Which is why I dislike her. And that's about all I have to say about her. The link to my first video and my friend's 2 video will be in the description box below. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Bye, and see you next time.